What's good? Shit. Back at y'all again. Finna jump into this Hidden Treasures of Melanin little series one more time. Shit. Hope y'all enjoyed y'all holidays and shit. 4th of July, which I'm about to speak on in just a second. Cause you know I got some interesting information on that right there. I know a lot of niggas, you know, everybody look at this day as if it's something that is exclusively associated with black people, or they look at it like, since this day was a day that so-called Europeans declared their independence from Britain, which really, that's some bullshit. For my research go, this motherfucker never did get, you know, now really, and it ain't even, this shit is ours. This shit is which to go into what I'm finna say right now. Really, America is the whole planet, but the landmass in America, when you look at it the way that our ancestors looked at things, they patterned geography or the earth and the things that they built on the earth after what was going on in heaven. That's why all the temples in Egypt all correspond to certain spots in the zodiac and to certain stars at certain or particular times of the year. The interesting thing about America is, if you look at the whole landmass, first they said it was 13 colonies. Okay, you had 13 colonies, but the 13, that's the Messiah number, that's the master number. The 13th letter in the alphabet is M, that's master. That corresponds to the sun, and that corresponds to your soul ultimately. But the 13th warrior, the 13th spirit would be the sun, in which the 12 zodiac spin around or rotate around. 12 and the 1, the 12 disciples, all corresponding to a particular zodiac sign, and then the sun being in the center, being the Christ. Now all this takes place, and all this has a place within your physical constitution, as well as the you know, it all comes from the mind though. But each one of your 12 major organs and certain parts of your body correspond to certain planets, and everything that you see about you is a reflection of what is projecting from within you, from the soul. The soul, or the mind, the divine mind, is the true foundation upon which this physical so-called illusion is built upon. So not to stray too far away from what I was originally saying, America, the 50 states, the 50 stars, that if we look at it through the lens of how our ancestors was building according to the stars, or according to space or whatnot, America would correspond to the Sirius star system, and the Sirius star system is that from which everything came out of. That was the most the star Sirius was the most heralded or celebrated star in the sky, and I can see why. Because when I caught it in that, just even on the physical, even taking it outside the context of the exoteric and occult understanding, when I look at it from the just the physical, just looking at the beauty of the star, when I caught it, like the picture that I put on Instagram with the rap thing was the second. That was prior to the first time I actually had the original sighting of the star. And I actually saw it before one of the first times I remember seeing it. I didn't even think of it as the Star Series, you know what I'm saying? Because I was just thinking, like, you know, everything exists within the dark waters of the sky. So, you know what I'm saying? Looking at it from the inside looking out, just say, you know. So I didn't, when I first saw it, because when I saw the first time I saw it and recorded it, is when I remembered when I first saw it. That's when the memory of me first seeing it came back to me. And but I didn't figure out or put two and two together until the time that I caught it and I recorded it. And then I recorded it a few times, but the one that I put on Instagram was prior. Excuse me. It was after the first time. The first time I caught it. See, when I caught it, the one that I put on the rap thing was when I caught it, like in the it was more so on the first time I caught it, it was in the western sky. It was, you know what I'm saying, it was more like it was as if it was just appearing from out of the west. And the second time it was a little bit more eastern. So but the America, first and foremost, when you go back through this is a good book to do that with too. Serious Mystery, the Sacred 50, chapter 4, Sacred 50. The Sacred 50 deals with all these different mythologies from Egypt all the way into Sumeria and Babylonia, and it's dealing with this mythology about the 50. Jason and the 50 Argonauts. They have a couple of more. Jason and the Argonauts, and you had Guilt, the flood of. Hold on, let me see. Let me get with you. But you have different versions. Yeah, the Gilgamesh thing. All these are pretty much the same stories. Noah and all that, the flood, because that's what Jason and the Argonauts was. Jason was the helmsman of the Jason was the helmet of the ship, the helmsman of the ship, and he had 50 assistants with him. So when you're dealing with the 50, you're dealing with Syrian. That corresponds to the Sirius A, which is the star that you actually see shining and flashing all those different colors: red, green, blue. It flashes a multitude of the color spectrums that we because that's what it is. It's a prism. Just looking at it from follow me. The light comes from there through this dark hole. The light comes from out of the dark. It goes back to even with the Bible thing. The spirit floating over the dark waters, or the night, the waters of night, and all that. When you send if you take white light, put it through the prism, it breaks up and start reflecting all the other colors of the prism or whatnot. It displays mainly the ones we identify with are the chakras of the or the color of the chakra. Red, orange, yellow, green, blue, a darker blue, like a royal blue, or the violet, something like that, in purple. It's like a prism. So when you're dealing with this this star system, it takes, you have that star, then you have a dark orbit around it, which is Sirius B. Heavily, it's the black planet, or the black, you call it the black because it's a star. It's a real dense, condensed star. They say something like if you was to take, he said the amount of melanin that you can get from Sirius B, if you was to get just enough to pack a matchbox, that'd be like 50 tons or some shit, some wild shit like that. So it symbolizes the melanin, the dark abyss of the melanin, the heavy. It's called Al-1s. That's one of the names associated with the Sirius star system, because of the heavy. Al-1 means the weight. The weight corresponding to the heaviness of this small mind. It's small, but it's real packed and condensed. That symbolizes the melanin. Your melanin, a speck of melanin, or a speck of the darkness, contains endless potential. So the heaviness, all this of the concentration of all of this dark matter, so to speak, within the I guess speaking within the physical aspect of this melanin, like where you see you take the matchbox and put 50 tons in it, that will correspond to how the vastness of how much information is within one, we'll just say one cell of melanin or something like that. You know what I'm saying? It's everything. So the 50 states of America correspond to the 50 years that it takes for this dark star to revolve, because you got Sirius A, then you have Sirius B revolving around it. And on my Instagram page, you can go check it out. I caught a shot where Sirius B lines up right with Sirius A, and you can see it goes from flashing all those different colors to the star becomes a white light, and then you see a dark hole take precedence or come in front of the star. When that dark hole starts to move in front of the star, you see the star turning white. Goes back to the prism thing I was telling you about. The prism, the white light being sent through the prism breaks up into the different color spectrums of the prism or whatnot. So that day that I caught that symbol, which was 2016, that was a lineup. That was something spiritually, and that's why I always tell y'all, that's why they do things like, and them shits be movies, kill a nigga in the middle of the summer and shit, have everybody worried about that, then you got all this energy and lineups with the earth and Sirius and all that, but you don't learn about that. I just, and I caught, like I said, when I caught the star myself, I was like, damn man, how long have I been overlooking this? Because this shit is glowing like it's a star, but it's like the way it was glowing on that night sky, man. It was that shit was beautiful. I was like, God damn. And that's when I stepped. I said, man, that's the star Sirius. I've been reading about this shit and internalizing it so much that I never really paid attention to or looked for it in the sky. And I just so happened to serendipitously do it that night. And from that point, and I had a whole lot of revelations and shit when I started. Like I said, I looked at the I was reading this book, and in this book it speaks about a dog and his master. His master went on a voyage, and he was gone so long that by the time he came back to the town, the only one that recognized him was the dog, and the dog died of joy when he came back in contact with his master. Well, that the night that I caught the star, I followed this traversing through the sky, and I'm looking at it, man. I stayed out there all night and shit, man. I had one of my things with me. I was out there with my stones and shit. I'm out there, you know, just meditating on that shit and thinking and coming up with all kind of ideas and getting all kind of energy, man, from this star. And when the sun began to rise, the star, during the summertime, around this time, the star starts to fade out. The brightness from the sun causes like a white, milky white cast to fade the star out. The star doesn't go set, it fades out, and the more and more the sun rises up, the more and more you see the whiteness of the brilliance of the sun begin to fade the star out. The star is the dog star, Sirius. And the sun, being the companion of the master or whatever, when it returns back, when the sun sets, this is when the star Sirius comes out and rises above the horizon. The horizon is where you can see it or whatever, because it stays above the horizon for most of the year. And so it's like when the sun goes down into the Sutan state, the star Sirius is coming out, and it's like the sun is leaving and going on a voyage. And then when it rises back up in the east, because the star, when I caught it, the stars in the west sky and the sun sets in the west. So, and then the star traveled from the west to the east through the northern sky. So by the time the sun is rising, the star is in the northern sky, right above or right in the area where the sun is about to rise up. And then the sun rises, and the star Sirius vanishes from your vision or whatnot. And so I said, damn, there go the mythology right there. I'm looking at this, I said, damn, the star fading out represents the dog dying on the return of the sun. The death of the star, if you want to call it a death, the death just alludes to the vanishing from sight, the vanishing of the star from your sight due to the brilliance of the sun rising up in the sky. The rising of the sun corresponds to the master returning back, or the owner of the dog, whatever you want to call it, coming back to the city, meeting with the dog star, the Sirius star, and then the star fades after the sun rises. You know, I had read that in this book, and that night when I was out there just watching the star, it came back to me when I actually seen it happen in front of my eyes. You know what I'm saying? When I seen what the mythology was alluding to with my own two physical eyes by looking at the interaction between the sun and the star Sirius. So I'm like, damn, I'm in the mix, and it, you know, so it's going down. You know, that was fly shit to me. You know what I'm saying? But it's in the middle of the summer. You niggas will be so worried about Martian and this, that, and the third, and the whole while this type of shit is happening in the sky. Shit where niggas can really get some work done on whatever they trying to get their work did on, by tuning into this energy that we getting from these transmissions that we getting, which is just a reflection. You getting it from the outside, it's a reflection of it coming from within you. That's the whole paradox of this shit. You know, that's what separates the chumps from the monks around this motherfucker. When you know how to understand that what you see is a reflection from within you, but you use that energy coming even the whole concept of it, even the whole concept of it seeming as if it's coming from outside of you to in you, you even use that to your advantage. Because that's what it's for. It's really to train you about what's going on within you. That's why I can look at natural facts that occur around me and correspond them to certain things that's happening on an eschatological or on a spiritual, metaphysical level within me. Within me, coming from within me, it reflects into the physical reality and plays out. So the 4th of July, the 7th month, the 4th day. The 4 corresponds to the physical earth. We sit on a square that spins in a circle. This is called the squared circle. This squared circle within and through the square is sit on a pole. And you have this magnetic force, this electromagnetic force field that forms a dome around the earth. That's where the whole circle aspect comes from. And once again, the squared circle. The circle corresponds to the 360-degree rotation of the planet, and the square within the circle, or the square that makes the 360-degree spin around. Yeah, that's the 4. Then the 7 corresponds to the 7 which we finna get into some Muhammad Ali shit too. But the 7 corresponds to the backbone of Osiris. The 7 is the 7 chakras the 7 main chakras that travel up the spine. Which alludes to the 8 as well, because it's the 7 and 1. The 7 corresponding to the 7 chakras. The earth has just like you have a backbone. The earth has a backbone, as I always say, and that's the pole of the earth that sits in the middle of the earth. The earth, the 4 corners, it's a pole that these four corners of the world, or this square, sits on. The 4 also corresponds to Isis. It corresponds to physical matter, because physical matter comes forth through the 4 elements: earth, wind, water, and fire. That's why it says Osiris sits on the square. Osiris, or the energy of the sun, comes into the earth through Osiris sit on the square. So when that's why the summertime, when the earth, if we was to look at the sun as the masculine energy, the sun is a symbol of Osiris, or the masculine energy, or whatever, the viral male energy. During the summertime, Osiris, or the earth, if the earth being Isis, the 4, her number being 4, she even carries a sistrum. Sometimes she carries the little, I forgot what they call them, but she carries a sistrum, and it's usually a square. This represents the physical, the physical aspect of things. The earth being a symbol of physicality, due to its earthliness. You know what I'm saying? And Osiris sitting on the square would be when the sun is at its, would be the summertime in so many words, because the sun would be above the earth. This is when the sun is at its most northerly position above the earth. So the earth will be abundant, and the earth is the seat, because the earth corresponds to Isis. Isis symbol and hieroglyphs is the throne. So when the sun is above the earth, so like in the wintertime, when the sun is at its most southerly position, this is when the mother is at the top and the sun is at the bottom. This represents the sun being with the wintertime represents the especially or the fall going into the winter symbolizes the pregnant Isis. And then December 25th symbolizes the birth of the sun. But the winter aspect symbolizes the son being inside the womb of the mother, and it is born on December 25th. If you was to look at it from the aspect of a square, place the sun at the right side of the vertical line of the cross, and then imagine it traveling towards the next traveling down to the bottom part of the pole or the vertical part of the cross. This would symbolize the birth of Osiris, that point right there. And after he's born, he goes to the next pole of the vertical, the next end of the horizontal, because you got the vertical line, you got the horizontal line. Imagine the sun coming from this side of the horizontal line and traveling south into the to meet up with the bottom of the vertical pole, and then from that pole he goes to the left side of the neck, or this side of the horizontal pole, which would be springtime, and he starts to make his way to the northern pole, or the north of the earth, or the earth travels in a position that would put the sun in the northern position of the earth. This would symbolize Kundalini rising, because the vertical pole, which connects from summer solstice to the winter solstice, up and down, will be the spine. The sun going from the root or the bottom of the earth, because this would be when during the winter time is when like I said, the earth is above the sun, or the earth is in its most northerly position towards the sun, and so it'll be beneath the earth and under the pole of the earth. So this would be when the sun, the birth of the sun, the sun would be coming from out of the earth. You know what I'm saying? That pole that's at the center of the earth is open. Just imagine the earth with a give me an example right here. That pole you see right there, that's like the birth canal or whatever, coming out of the center of the earth. So when the earth is sitting above the sun, it's almost as if the sun is coming from out of that birth canal or whatever, or that which is the pole or the backbone or the point where the earth is opened up for the pole of the earth to travel through, and but it's open at the bottom of the earth. So it's as if the sun was coming during the winter, when the sun is at its most southerly position, the southern midpoint or whatnot. It's almost as if, or it is as if the sun is being born from out of earth. It's looking as if the sun fell or was born from out of that hole slash hole in the center of the earth. And biologically speaking, this corresponds to when the pineal gland unfolds forms a spine within the womb when the sperm transforms into the lima bean shaped black dot, and the within the womb of the mother after penetrating the egg, the pineal gland, or that black dot on the lima bean shape, unfolds. That lima bean shape, the pineal gland and the heart are connected. And I'm quite sure if you look through biology, it'll probably explain what nerves and all that shit correspond to that. Because I think I was on to this book right here the other day, this book I got on my body, which I'm gonna get into and show y'all some interesting shit from too. But where was I going with that? Oh yeah, I was dealing with the rise of the Kundalini thing. Yeah, the biologically speaking, when the spine unfolds for about the black dot, now you have this spine, and then you have this black dot sitting on top of it, which is the pineal gland, and then the pituitary and the hypothalamus glands, which are the three jewels, the three main components within the hookup of the brain or whatever. So that happens, and then, like I said, the soul, your spirit and soul, or whatever you want to call it, builds your physical body around this pole. And then once it finished building the body after like 6 months, in the 7th month, it goes down into the root chakra, or to the lowest chakra within you, and coils up the wrist at the root of the spine. Now this goes so many different ways when you start dealing with this mythology, period. You know what I'm saying? Because it always comes back to the body. That's why one of the colors of Christmas is red. The red and the white. The sun. When you look at the earth, basically, the earth is called the Great Face. That's why it's called the face of the earth. When you look at the whole, when you look at the solar system, the earth would be, because it's called the grand man, the Adam Cadman. That's the Adam Cadman is the concept of the solar system or the universe as one man, which is just how it is. Everything is connected. Everything from the source to all these physical manifestations that we see in front of us, all part of the one. So if the solar system, we'll just keep it within the realm of the solar system. If the solar system is the grand man, the earth is the face. That's why when you look at this right here, that I drew this. This is the earth. There go the cross right there. This is the square. We sit on top of this land right here. This land creates sunrise and sunset by tilting away from the sun and turning away from the sun and tilting towards the sun and all that. But if you look at it, even it looks like a face. This would be Egypt, the three pyramids, whatever. This being the Great Pyramid, I think the Great Pyramid sits offset or something like that. But if you was to look at the sunrise and the sunset, it arises between one set of pyramids and then set between one, if I'm not mistaken. But those represent the east and west rising and all that. But when you look at I drew this the earth, the land we sit on, this vertical line right here. Then you got the three pyramids, and And this would be the bottom or beneath the earth. The ozone layer and all that shit, that's the pole. The pole of the earth. The backbone of Osiris, the backbone of the earth. You would have these 7 chakras, or six. And this, I'm about to get into that right now with this motherfucking America shit, with this backbone thing. So, the backbone is one of the things that the red, white, and blue corresponds to when you start dealing with this whole America thing or whatever. Amaru Ka. Amaru is the shining serpent, and Ka, you have 2 Kas. You have the spiritual Ka, then you have the physical Ka. You know what I'm saying? The earth is the Amaru Ka. The earth, the Ka is the earth. You have the physical Ka, or the physical earth, and then the earth has a high vibration, a soul earth, or the soul of the earth, which would be the spiritual Ka. And then the shining serpent would be the Kundalini of the earth. So the Kundalini earth, the earth's Kundalini rises just as well as the Kundalini within you rises, because ultimately you're a physical earth. You are Amaruka. You know what I'm saying? You have there are mythologies and shit that and it's in this book somewhere, man. I need to start doing better at keeping up with this shit, man. This shit just be so in me. It's like I could turn any page and just start going off on this shit. It's like this shit. That's why when niggas be talking about, you know, niggas talking about they never decoded the hieroglyphs and shit. Well, they decoded something, because this shit is in me, and I know it when I see it, and I can put this shit. I know what all this shit mean. You know what I'm saying? In so many words. Somebody decoded something and that shit. Even with the fucking hieroglyphs, when you go get the book coming forth by day, I be decoding that shit just by, because in the book coming forth by day, you'll have the hieroglyphic vignette, and you'll have the translation of it broke down beneath it. And I look at the motherfucking vignettes before a lot of them vignettes I looked at, and that shit was corresponding to shit that was happening. It was certain days I say some shit, like me and my cousin, I was in my kinfolk house one day, and I was like, man, we ain't drinking enough water, bro. Because I know I ain't drinking enough water and shit. Nigga fucked up. I don't fuck with the faucet water. So, you know, it was in the clutch. Everything count. Nigga paying for, you know, any water I drink, I gotta pay for it. Because I don't fuck with the faucet shit. And I'm over there, you know, nigga pockets kind of fucked up and shit. So a nigga had to cut corners and all that. But I'm telling my camera, like, man, we ain't drinking enough water. This nigga drinking coffee all day. You know, I'm lacking on dry. I ain't drinking as much water as I usually drink. You know what I'm saying? Nigga was in the land when nigga was in the desert. You know what I'm saying? So, I tell a nigga, like, man, cause I had been catching, like, not hot flashes, but like my body was like heating up a lot that week. So that Friday came around, I said, man, we gotta start drinking more water. Like, cause in order to make the shit that we trying to make happen, we gotta tap into the melanin. And in order to tap into the melanin, effectively, we gotta drink more water. You know what I'm saying? That's how we're gonna track what we need to track. You know, we're on the music shit and all that. And I was like, that's how we're gonna track, or we're gonna attract what we need to attract. We need to activate the melanin. And I bullshit you not, man. I pulled that book out, and before I told him that, I was working on some shit. I was doing some shit on the mic, in the studio, or apartment studio, whatever the fuck you want to call it. But I'm up in there, and I'm like, cuz, how this shit sound? You know what I'm saying? Blah, blah, blah. He's like, man, you need to breathe. When I read that book later on that day, I think, if I'm not mistaken, I don't know if it was in this order, because I know I read a couple more, but I know it was one motherfucking chapter I turned to, and it spoke about drinking water or intaking water, but it was told in a mythological form. It was like drinking water to not quench the thirst of the fiery dragon, or something like that, And I'm reading this shit, I'm like, damn, this shit cool. I just telling this nigga we need to drink water, because that's what it was saying. See, them books was like, those papyruses and all that stuff they found buried in them tombs and shit was a lot of that was coded symbol. It was coded stories for people of a later time to use to navigate through this physical world. Because they tell you, you got that chapter where it spoke on drinking water to quench the fire, the burning fire, or something like that. I got to get the book again, but that was the first chapter. In the other chapter I turned to was speaking about the shu, or the breath. And like I said earlier that morning, my kinfolk had what he told me was like, man, you need to breathe. You know what I'm saying? You know, I was getting back in I was blowing the dust off the rhyme, you know, off the whole my breathing system or whatever. You know, because it had been a minute since I really just got down with the rap and shit. So and then there was another chapter in there that was speaking on not drinking of the polluted water. Which all made sense. Like I was saying, I told him I needed to, we need to drink more water because I could feel my body heating up or whatever, just off a lack of water, and smoking and all that old shit. You know what I'm saying? It was like that shit was drying a nigga out. So that's one thing. And he told me to think about the breath thing. I bumped to the chapter about the breath, and then this other chapter was spoke on the avoiding the polluted water. See, all this shit they was writing back then was for now, cause this is the time now where you shit your faucet water, fluoride calcifies the pineal gland. The pineal gland, when the pineal gland is calcified, it doesn't function as proper as it could. Therefore, it shuts down your spiritual centers, and that's the reason behind the fluoride being in the water, because the fluoride calcifies the pineal gland. The Caucasian, the average Caucasian's pineal gland, the ones whose pineal glands, and then we live in a time where they even with it ain't even about one thing. Let's get that straight before I even say this shit. It ain't even about black versus white. This shit is about science. Who is who and what's what. So when I say when I speak these things, like I say about these Europeans, I'm coming from more of a scientific aspect. I'm not in the emotional thing with everybody. Like, just I'm trying to find something to say, oh yeah, the black people are better than white people and all this shit. I say that because I don't like looking like, we all come from that. That's the beginning stage when you're a kid and shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, you get this shit from the black and white thing, and it's like, I've never been racist. But you all get caught up in the moment of trying to, well, they saying they better than us at this, and well, let me show them this, and we that, and we this. Now it ain't even about that shit with me. It's just, all you gotta do is tell the truth. Learn the truth, tell the truth, truth defend itself. You know what I'm saying? It ain't even about the motherfucking, and even with that, who knows what the fuck going on with so-called Caucasians or Europeans, because everybody's they're not as advanced as us because we've been here the longest, but they are in a everything is in a state of evolution. That means that they're here, they're evolving too. It just I can tell you the motherfuckers that are not and who are doomed to some shit, those are, and even niggas, cause niggas ain't safe. But the ones that still think that they're superior, or they're of the mindset that they have to keep us down. Anything that's based in so many words, anything that's going against the excelling of black people or melanated people, they're on a train heading to a brick wall in so many words, because they're of the wrong. We went through the destruction and the breakdown era of our whole process. Now we in the rebuilding process. So everything that's still functioning under a hindrance of spiritual vibration or hindrance of the rise of the vibration, they're not going to be able to activate or navigate the new era. That's why I seen I think Monifa from the 90s, old school, well not old school, but she from back in the game, but singer for y'all don't really know about her. I think she has, I think it was her, she was like Evolve or Die. And I was like, yeah, that's the perfect way to put it, because this is the Osarian thing. Osarian is a lord of Osiris is the lord of transformation. You know what I'm saying? You stay alive by transforming. You know what I'm saying? Eternal life or being immortal is about the soul, understanding the soul self, and the soul is all potential. You know what I'm saying? The soul is the light within the dark. And Osiris, that's why when you look at the Matrix, Osiris would be Morpheus. Morpheus refers to the morph, or the morph means transform, or transformation. That's what Osiris is, the Lord of Transformation. And Keanu Reeves, Neo, the one would be he would be the Christ figure. So everybody's in a process of evolving and adapting to whatever the new vibe, or whatever we find, wherever we find ourselves at within this vibratory evolution, so to speak. But the ones that they say that have active pineal glands, well, that just means they're black. They just pass for white or look white. And now we're at an age where there's been so much mixing and mingling of the races. Like I said, man, I seen the white girl, man, with nappy hair. White girl. That's my eyes was deceiving me. When I look, I ain't talking about albino shit either. I saw a white girl, and I looked at her hair, and her shit was nappy as fuck. And there's some other shit going on, but and I did hear once that it'd be a time where the wicked white people or whatever, the wicked ones, which are the ones that propagate this propagate the falsehood, the 10% as we call them, that there'll be a time where they're running away from America, because America becomes so much of a mixing pot. They don't know who's who no more. They don't know if the whites are white, or because they believe in keeping niggas down. So if you have black people that are so light that they appear white, they don't know who's who, and it fucks them up. So now they just, that's why you go and look at, like, VH1 had some little documentary a couple of years ago speaking about the browning of America, the beiging of America, and all that. You know what I'm saying? Which is a thing they push towards the propaganda. On the whole Messiah thing, trying to lay claim to that. They try to give you a version of the Messiah that's half breed, so they can say, well, the Messiah was half black and half white. You know what I'm saying? That shit is only true within the context of light and dark as energies, because the light and the dark combined at the midpoint symbolizes the Christ. That's what the Sambo thing about. I just seen some shit in here too. Go look at the Sambo Black God of Asia thing. You know what I'm saying? And the Mandela thing, the Mandelas. That's the Mandelas correspond to a part of your brain. Damn, man, what I do with that motherfucking there you go, the Mandelas. But that's what the Sambo thing. We'll get to that Mandela shit. I don't want to be all over the place, but yeah, the light and the dark thing, that's what that is about. You know what I'm saying? This thing that's going on as far as the Christ, the Christian energy, that is of the of black people, because we've been in the process of Caucasians haven't been here long enough to do what we are doing, which is going through the resurrection phase that we're going through. But even some black people, because they're I've heard teachers on how you have the counterfeit spirits, and that's probably why we got this thing about who's real and who's fake. Because the real niggas are the ones who have souls, and the ones who have souls are the ones that recognize. That's why I say a nigga that don't fuck with I'm not saying a nigga gotta agree with everything I say, but I understand who I am as the Osiris energy within me. I know when a nigga get this shit and a nigga don't, because I'm actually manifesting this Osiris shit. Osiris is the way of the heart. I know where a nigga heart at and where a nigga coming from when he speak. You can be saying some fly shit all night, and then say one thing, and I'll be like, yeah, you need some, you know, he not getting it. He getting it, but he ain't, you know, he's still lacking. I know when a nigga you know, missing the mark, so to speak. So you know, and even just within speaking just in terms of everybody, one of the biggest things, you know, motherfuckers be like, well, you're judgmental, you shouldn't judge. Nah, fuck that. You better judge some shit. That's what you here to do. Judge. Not judge niggas based on bullshit, but judge every. You supposed to weigh information up against other information, and as far as people judging people, you fucking right. You better judge motherfucker character, because that could be the difference between you being fucked over by some motherfuckers, because these people fucked up out here. That's why I do believe that it is counterfeit spirits running around this motherfucker. That niggas that don't have no soul, or really that's the people that died the second death. It ain't just a white person thing. From my perspective, because I ain't gonna lie, some of these niggas are fucked up. You know, like I say, it ain't all about morality, but that says a lot about you. Like I said, because the most spiritual people are those that understand the oneness, and by understanding the oneness, you automatically have this thing where, not saying you perfect, but you're naturally geared towards doing what's quote unquote kosher, or doing the right thing, so to speak. You know what I'm saying? At least I know me. That's how I always been wired. You know what I'm saying? That's how I know. And you have to work within the high to be on some spiritual shit. You know what I'm saying? When you're dealing with the low, you need both. But when you trapped in the low, you trapped in the personal, individual. You trapped in this personal, individual orientation towards the world, where everything is seen as just something to manipulate more into building who you are up, and getting what you want, but not necessarily reciprocating back into society with balance, or dealing with equality, as we would say within the nation of gods and earth. So but the midpoint is where you do for self, and really by doing for self, you automatically do, when you do what you're supposed to do for yourself, you automatically do what you should, and one form of another towards the rest of the oneness, so to speak, or the things that are connected to you, but are seemingly outside of you, or seemingly separate. Separation being an illusion. So to be caught up in an illusion is to only see everything as separate. And I understand that there is an underlying factor that makes everything one. Some people just actually don't, you know, that's why they can do injustices to other people without batting an eye. You know, they don't have that understanding of the oneness or the connectedness that others have, or those that are, or those who are less likely to violate somebody else in pursuit of their own personal gains. But you when you're balanced, that's when it has a flip side too, because you have a defense mechanism as well. So I might have to do something to you to keep you from to defend myself from you. But I always have the odds are always actually stacked against that person, because when you're lined up with or you're lined up as being a servant or beneficiary to society or to the whole, so to speak, the energy of the whole tends to conspire for you. Because even when you deal with magic and all that, I'm not saying you ain't got no fucked up people out there doing crazy shit, but when your heart is more so directed towards what's really important, which is soul, which is the recognition of the soul and self-deification, in order to activate others, then the energy, you're going in the same direction as energy in the whole, which is the elevation of the vibration. But anyway, the red, white, and the blue, going back to the whole 4th of July thing, which I'm gonna take you into the Apollo from Rocket thing. But the red, white, and the blue, the red corresponds to the blood vessels running up your back. That's the partner of the Red Sea. The red blood vessels that flank the neuromelanin in the spine. The white is the spine and the light. The spine is white, and the light that travels up the spine is symbolized by the white light that travels up the that uncoils from the base of the spine. The white light that I was talking about, the spectrum thing, and travels back up towards the pineal gland, which is where you get your whole blue thing from. The bluish black with the 50 stars in the thing on the flag. The pineal gland has 72 small chakras on it. This corresponds to the 72 duodeacons, or the 72 co-conspirators of Set, who helped Set dismember the body of Osiris. The 72 duodeacons correspond to you have 12 zodiac signs, and then 12 months. Each month was separated into 3 weeks. 12 times 3, that's 36. Now if you split each one of them weeks in half and create 2 weeks out of one, that'll turn the 36 weeks into 72 mini weeks, or 72 duodeacons. And these deacons are the deacons were the 10 days were zodiacs. The deacon is the zodiac sign, and the three different aspects of the zodiac sign corresponding within 10 days each week. So you have a zodiac sign, which would be 1. Then you have or you have a constellation, and each constellation have a week. In the week, because you got the 12 zodiac signs, and you had these 3 weeks. Each week would correspond to a certain constellation, and the first 5 days of the constellation will represent the 5 days where